Hello, planning posse people! Woohoo! Flora Sage here, and I am so excited for this month's bonus interview. I am so excited and delighted to introduce you to Manasi Kakade. Welcome, Manasi.
Hi, everybody.
Yay!
Thanks, Flora, for having me.
Oh,
Thank
sure.
you.
Well, so let's get started. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and who you serve?
So I am Manasi Kakade, as you heard. I am a career strategist, and I coach purpose-driven professionals on how to express their strengths and ideas with clarity and confidence. The goal is to get them follow their careers with intention, whether they're doing business or whether they're working for somebody else, to help them follow their career with intention and confidence, and hopefully they end up making even bigger impact in this world than they are already making. So that's whom I serve. The people, usually the people that come to me are staying awake at night because they just don't know, they don't want to die before making an impact. It's those kind of people. Yeah. They're ambitious, they are driven by a certain purpose. They're not just making money to make money. They want to do it through a career that builds up on their passions and strengths. So that's nice. I love coaching such people, and I have a great time with it.
Ooh, how exciting. So
yes.
Obviously you had some type of journey to get where you are, and I'm sure a lot of that took a little bit of a plan. And so why don't you share with us a little bit about your experience with planning in the past, what you tried, what worked, what didn't work, and just kind of share with us those experiences that you've had.
So you're right that it did take a lot of planning. I started my career as an engineer. I'm an electrical engineer. Then I started, through that planning, I decided that I want to get my master's degree, so I went there. But what happened there was you can say that divine intervention, where I took this 1 credit hour class at the end that was related to business and entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And when I found it, it wasn't planned. This class wasn't planned. I just did it because it was introduced new, and I needed 1 credit hour and did it. And I immediately understood that I'm made for this. Like, I love entrepreneurship. I love doing business. So that was for me. So I did my MBA immediately afterwards, and I started working for high-tech companies into marketing. Nice. That's where my planning started, because now I was introduced to something that was different, that happened by chance, but I understood that I really want to follow my passions. I want to build a career based on my strengths. So that was just constantly planning. What is it that I'm good at? What is it that I love doing? Mm-hmm. And I started following more and more of that. And that has led me to where I am today, because part of the plan was starting a blog just to see that, do I love doing this, or do I love talking about my career lessons? Because that seemed to be something that people always came to me to ask. Mm-hmm. So I started a blog, and that blog turned into my first clients who would just, out of nowhere, I didn't even have a business, and people started coming to me saying, would you coach us on this? Would you tell us about this? And I was like, dang, I can do this. And that's where, so I think all my life a lot of it was planned, but a big part of it was also just synchronicity. Something happened that led me on a different track. So that's what I have learned in life is you plan, obviously, because that's intention behind it. That allows you to get on the path. Mm-hmm. But then you need to be open to what happens in that plan. There needs to be that flexibility. There needs to be room for spontaneity, room for course correction. Mm-hmm. And for my planning journey, I always have my goals, but I'm willing to tweak them as needed. So that's how I plan. And nice. Earlier, I had to make the journey from being like a perfect planner to now where I am, where I have more openness for it. So I set an intention, but there is more room for growth. There is room for flexibility.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah. I'm curious. So share with us that pivotal experience or that pivotal moment in your life where you knew that you had to create or use or tweak the planning system that you had. And sometimes, excuse the vernacular, it's like your holy shit moment where just like everything hits the fan and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And it, like literally it is that pivotal moment where you realize I have got to make a change.
Yeah.
So share with us what that was for you.
So I think for me, more than a pivotal moment, it was like a string of moments. I started realizing that, so I told you, right? I started my blog. I didn't have really the intention of turning into business, but that's where I landed. And as it was growing as a business, initially I was okay not planning or not being that methodical about it. But the moment I started growing, which was last year, that's when it was, I needed my wake-up call, is really, if you really need to make the best and serve the people in the best way, you need to get your stuff together in order to succeed for their service. So for example, I used to write these blog posts that were, I never planned in my blog post that there is going to be an image. It was just like, it happened all the time. So there were a few times that happened one after another when I didn't publish the blog post in time because I didn't have the image ready. So that's when I learned my lesson. I was like, okay, this needs to be part of the plan. So now I have a blog post checklist where designing an image is part of that checklist. Unless that is checked, I know for sure I cannot publish a blog post. And that just took away this thinking in my mind into that system, into that plan, that later, now it helps me. Anytime I publish a blog post, I know that I have to design an image for it. I have to do it on time.
Right.
And that checklist helps me keep on track. So it was simple moments like these where I was just like, oh my gosh, I really need to do a better job at serving people and delivering it on time or the way I wanted at the quality I wanted. And in order to do that, I need the plan, or I need certain systems in place, or I need certain methods in place. And that was I think my bunch of moments when I started really growing in the business. That's when I needed to get the stuff together.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, and those are the moments that you're like, oh my goodness, I really have to create that system. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your planning system? You know, what maybe a typical day or week might look like for you.
So this is quite interesting because I started out in my childhood. Everybody told me that, and you know, Indian people, they're famous for their emphasis on education.
Yes.
So my parents were all about it. They were like, no, you have to, and I was performing very well in the school, but they told me that you really need to be, like have a calendar, have a schedule, do certain subjects and study for them at certain times and maybe read extra at certain times, things like that. And they are both very, like calendar-driven people.
Yes.
So they found that method and they were telling me that, but I understood I can never do that. And I don't have a day where I have like every half an hour is scheduled a certain way, and unless that appointment comes in, I wouldn't remember it or I wouldn't do it. But I struggled with it quite a bit because for me, that was the definition of planning. And later on, just within the last couple of years or maybe 2-3 years, I understood that every person has their different planning personality.
Yes.
So for me, what helped me is to actually block certain days for certain things so that then I can feel free to do whatever I want in that time. That keeps my desire for freedom awake. But also, there is some structure to it. So I'm more of a structured person than just a planner. So for me, say a typical day, for example, like any meetings I have, those happen on Thursday, physical meetings, Thursdays and Fridays. So those days are open. Anytime somebody asks me that I want to see you for something, I instantly send them a link to the calendar. Any Thursday or Friday that is open, schedule it. I don't have to worry about it. There are days when I record videos for my courses, and I just do it one after another. So the blocks work better with me. But then again, if I have the whole day of just video recording, I get bored. So then I usually have like half a day blocks, maybe some video recording and some writing. Yes. Or maybe some client appointments and some meetings outside, right? So I do client appointments through Skype. something like that. So there is some variety to that planning, and I love that variety, but I also like some kind of structure. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. It's perfect. Well, and I can relate because like when I first started my business, I would take clients Monday through Friday. And it was hard because I made videos every single week. And then I had a newsletter, and then I had a blog, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, and it was like, and I realized early on, I can't do this. I have to do certain things at certain times. And that's when I discovered time blocking and really setting a schedule. And now I take clients on Tuesdays all day. It's clients. Monday is my planning day where I look, okay, so this is what I've got for the week, and I'll write blogs. Like the first week of the month, I don't take any clients. I've got 3 calls that I do at the beginning of the month for my group programs, but that is the week where I write my blog post, which is essentially the script for my video. I film my videos. I get the image for my blog post. I pre-schedule my blogs for the whole month. And like that week, that's it. And then I also do my financials. And it's like that is what I do the whole week. And each day is something else. Monday is writing day. Tuesday is filming and uploading day. Wednesday is my financials. Thursday it's like, decompressing and looking and prepping the emails. And then Friday, I'm creating my action plan for the rest of the month or the rest of the week. And but that's something that is such a blessing when you can give yourself those time blocks to just do the things that you need to do when you need to do them. And I love that you mentioned that you still have freedom within those time blocks because you really, truly do. You so do.
Right. And I think that's where the inspiration part comes in, because a lot of people who are creating something, whether it's a video, whether it's a blog post, or you're designing, say, a circuit board in electrical engineering, I think you need to allow for that inspiration. And usually that inspiration comes when you are already in the flow, you're doing a lot of it. So when it comes, you have to really accept it and not say, oh, I now need to go somewhere else.
Yep.
So for me, that's what was happening with just a strict calendar. Was the moment I got into it and I had something, I had to go for another meeting, and I just did not like that. I was like, no, this is not for me. I really need to focus and make use of this inspiration, and then take like inspired action on that one, so that I will move forward faster.
Yeah.
So that's. And you know what? Something else your audience will really love is the two experts that really help me in this is, one is Carson Tate, who is a productivity expert. And she talks about different personalities that you have, different types of productivity people, different types of productivity personalities. Nice. And she has, I think, a free quiz on her website or some type of assessment that you can take. Nice. And if I find the link, I will share it with you guys.
Oh, thank you.
But it's not just the Carson Tate productivity quiz or something assessment, and then you will find it. But that really helps you figure out what works productively for you. So some people are calendar people, some people are time blocking people, some people are like Pomodoro method people. Yep. So figure out what it is for you. It really helps you to get there. Nice. And the second one, dang, I just forgot about it. I'll remember it. I'll remember. If I remember, I'll share it. But the one was the personality type, and the other one was... I forgot it. But I'll share it.
Oh, good.
And if I don't remember it in the interview, I will maybe send you a link later.
Oh, perfect.
That you can send to your audience.
Yes. So Planning Posse peeps, check below. There's going to be a link.
Right.
Awesome. Well, this is so amazing. So, a lot of the times when us as business owners get into the thick of our business, it's easy for us to schedule ourselves to death and overwork. And when we say where I'm filming and I'm blogging, literally sometimes it can take the whole day or the whole week, and sometimes into the weekend. And so why don't you share with us how, as an entrepreneur, you've created some harmony in your life and your business so that you're not constantly working and you do have time off in your life.
Yeah. That was a big learning for me, because I love the work that I do so much that I can easily go into extra time. And especially last year, as the business was growing, I realized that my husband would come home at about maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I would still be like, oh no, I want to finish this, I want to do this. I would do it, and then later on I was like, this is no way, I really need to put an end to it. So I started setting pretty strict boundaries.
Nice.
It's just, this is the time the work has to end. Starting time, I'm okay. I'm a little bit flexible with it, but usually I start at a certain time after I finish my morning routine. Then I go into a certain time, and that's when it starts. But ending time, I'm really, really strict boundaries there. I have to end at this time, and honestly, it has made me more productive. It's like I feel like I want to then finish it before, so I close all the distractions. No more Facebook or no more LinkedIn, whatever it is that I do. I really focus on the task at hand, and it has made me productive. So that's how I maintain the balance between work and life. Another thing that really helps me is gratitude, and it's more for not just so that when you have these boundaries, you may go to bed thinking something was left undone, but instead of that, I choose to look at what was done. And it's not just related to work. We every night before going to bed, my husband and I, we talk about three things each that made our day today, that made us, and it can be something simple as I watched a sunrise today, and making sure that you are enjoying these little things in life. And sometimes it can be something big that, I launched my first course today, something like that. But that helps me focus on what got done in that day versus what didn't get done. And then I think that sets me up for another win for the next day, right? So sleeping with that gratitude in mind, that helps me see the day differently the next day I wake up. And I'm really actually enthused to finish the task that maybe was not done the day before. And I think something that I tell my clients all the time is just follow your passions. I didn't have as much harmony in my career or my business and life until I really started following my passions, because that's when the work becomes a breeze. It's I cannot describe that feeling. You know it, Flora.
Yes.
You know it. It's so easy that even if there are obstacles, even if you have bad days, you know why you are doing it. And knowing that why really makes everything so much easier, and you can actually tolerate even a bad day just fine.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we all have bad days. There are maybe bad days in life, something happened, maybe in family or in person, or bad days just at work, something that didn't go the way you expected. But I think when you know that why, when you know why I'm doing this, and it really helps to center you back.
Yes. Oh, I so agree. Well, and your why brings you back to absolutely everything. Why are you in business? Why are you helping people? Why are you a coach? Why do you do what you do? And on those bad days where you're like, oh my gosh, you go back to your why. Why? What is my mission? Why am I doing this? And it puts everything into the bigger picture. It really brings you back from a place of overwhelm to a place of service, and which does bring out that gratitude. It's, like, wow, I actually get paid to do this. I get paid to be me and like help people, pinch me, It's like, what? Yeah. And I love that you both do that together as a couple. I mean, what a beautiful thing to do for your relationship as well as for your business, because you can really be in that moment and just be in the energy of gratitude as you're falling asleep and as you're connecting with each other. Yay, I just love that.
I love it too. That's one of our favorite activities to do all throughout the day. I mean, we do other things together, but this gratitude is really, I think it's really, it warms my heart. Every time I think about it, I love it. It's great. And it's great to be able to share it with somebody.
Yes.
I mean, I can journal it and I can write it, which is great in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then to share it with somebody, it's for me, it works even better.
Yes. Well, it kind of brings more life to it.
Yeah.
And
makes it more real, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. I just love that. I'm taking notes, like, mentally. I need to actually, do that, because I want to do that. I mean, I'm like, I need to do that. I mean, because I usually do more gratitude work in the morning, but I need to start doing it at night, because I know that's going to shift so much more in my business and in my life even. Thank you for that. That's so good.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Awesome. So, in all of this, and your life, your work, your relationships, your gratitude, the ups, the downs, the pivotal moments, the college, the one random class that you're like changed your life forever. What's been the biggest lesson that you've learned throughout this entire thing?
I think the biggest lesson is to discover our planning or productivity type. I from what works with us. And I think for me, until I figured out that, calendar isn't for me, the calendar in the regular way, it just felt like I was failing at something. I wasn't abiding to the certain standards of what is considered productive, what is considered planning or goal setting, none of that. I felt like a failure. But when I understood that's just not for me, everybody has their different style, that's when it really hit me, is that, then I need to find my style, my tools. Yes. And now if you ask me, I'm one of the most productive people you'll ever see. Very efficient, very systematic, very methodical. And I'm just like, this is great. But until I understood that lesson is everybody has different systems that work for them. And you have to just figure out what it is for you.
Yes.
That was my biggest lesson, we just have to figure out our personality and see what works the best for us. And we hear all these different techniques from others. Like for some people, maybe Trello works. For some people, Asana works. And these are just, in case you don't know what that is, those are just different softwares people use for planning.
Yep.
So different things work for different people. It's just what it is for you that works for you. And I think one other lesson for me was I mentioned it already, is to leave that openness and flexibility in your planning. Because without that, we can be strict planners, but we might miss some of the indications along the way that may lead us to a better path. We always need to be open to that. That's how I feel about it.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. Well, and having that space gives you the opportunity to be open to those things. And if you're constantly scheduled, like to the minute, you're like, you don't have any room for those opportunities to come in.
Right, right. And some people, for them, the opportunities will come through the safety of having that calendar set every 30 minutes. So if that's your personality, that you feel safer or more comfortable or more ready to tackle on new things, if you have the calendar, go for it. Like that's your thing, then do it. But if that's not your thing, then figure out what it is for you.
Yes.
And that's but it's some mixture of what makes you feel comfortable and keeps you disciplined and structure enough to keep you disciplined, but also something that gives you spontaneity and inspiration.
Yes. Well, and I love that you mentioned that, because that's one of the reasons why I'm doing these interviews with people from all across the world, from all different disciplines, is so that people in this planning posse, which is a whole, I mean, our name, Planning Posse, I mean, we are the posse of women who are really in it to win it this year and to really create a life in our business that we absolutely love, and to be productive, not busy, but productive every single month. And so that's why these bonus interviews are so amazing, because it showcases other people's styles and methods and their journeys, because figuring out your planning style sometimes is not easy.
It's not. And that's why the tools help. By the way, I remembered the second tool I was talking about.
Oh, yay.
So the first one I said was the productivity expert Carson Tate.
Yes.
And the second one is Alisa Vitti.
Ooh.
And she's like a holistic nutritionist or holistic health coach, you can say. But how it helped me is she talks about, and this is only for women, she talks about different cycles in women's health, monthly. Like we know some cycles that are prominent, but there are other cycles like follicular phase, luteal phase, and we don't know about this. But she talks about this, and she tells how your hormones affect what you can do more productively. So, for example, in your luteal phase, you feel like I want to bring things to an end. I want to close it. So that's the best time to organize. That's the best time for you to finish any like loose projects that are there. So once I started planning my month accordingly, it was so good. It's like you're always in the flow. And
Nice.
she calls it a flow. It's like she has a book out too, and she calls it flow, something really. But anyway, so Google that, Alisa VT, and her book is called Woman Code.
Oh, nice.
And just disclaimer that like the book, the material in the book is really good, but there can be, if you really want directly to get to the point, there can be, you may feel that there is some fluff in there.
Okay.
But the methods are really good. What she teaches is great. I love it. And I plan my month accordingly based on what my cycle is. And that really yields to a lot of productivity. So I do, say for example, she says that in your follicular phase, which is the beginning of certain cycle, you tend to generate new ideas. So any of my brainstorming and new ideas for video making, new ideas for blogs, that's when I generate all of that and I get started on the blog. Then in your ovulation, you are better communicators. So that's when I actually write the blog post. And then in like luteal phase, I edit the blog post and then I post it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's another resource that really helped me. And you wouldn't think of this as something productivity related or planning related, but oh my gosh, it's so useful. It's really good. If you want to take it up a notch, like out there, these resources will take you there.
How exciting. Well, and so does she describe how you can pinpoint when these cycles are for you?
Yes. So her method is usually many times if you are, say, or birth control or something like that, your cycles are going to be out of whack. So initially she says that for 3 months, she also prescribes like a plan for eating. It's not really a plan, but something like you should have more into your diet.
Right.
And then once you do that 3 months, which I did accordingly, you automatically start understanding based on your emotions and based on your cravings, what cycle you're in.
Oh, nice.
So, for example, if we crave a lot of green vegetables, that might be ovulation. Or if we crave grains like soups or beans, it might be luteal phase.
Right.
So now I've come to a point where I understand, based on my cravings and based on my emotions, I instantly understand what cycle I am in or that the cycle changed. So you understand it. But yes, in her book, she talks about how to understand it or what you can do in terms of nutrition to really listen to your body better. And and that's basically her whole work. It's the nutrition related to this. The productivity part is just something that she talks as a side benefit of it. And I just picked up on it and I was like, this is why I'm doing this.
Nice. Well, how cool. And what another fabulous resource for everybody. Yay.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool. I love both of those resources.
Oh, how cool. Well, speaking of resources, I know that you have a ton of them. So why don't you share a way that our members can connect with you outside of this interview?
Okay. So my blog is manasikakade.com, my first name, last name.com, and I will send the links as well. So there will be in the description, I guess, of this video. Yeah. I've just started a YouTube channel, by the way.
Yay.
So guys, help me get more subscribers. It's funny that I haven't even done one video yet, and I'm so grateful. I already have like 46 subscribers.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much. But that means that I need to start doing the videos real quick, right? So I'm going to get to it. And you saw me. If you enjoyed this interview, then this is my talking style. This is how I talk. So if you enjoy this, then you would enjoy YouTube. And I also run a Facebook group, and that's where we talk a lot about career-related stuff, negotiations, communication skills, but overall the career skills that you need in whether you're running a business or working for somebody else, the skills that you need to grow your career with intention. So the Facebook group, I will share the link as well. That will be down in the description too.
Nice.
So that's about it. I do have some courses that you can check out at courses.manasikakade.com.
Okay.
But so here's something cool that you guys might like is one of my clients, she told me that once we go through your courses, and so far I did courses as like a product, so it was like a 8-week long course or something like that, say on LinkedIn or interviews, stuff like that. she told me that once it is done, we want to stay in touch, we want to be inspired. And so she brought this concept, what if you keep teaching us these small skills that we can learn in a weekend and start implementing it right from Monday.
Nice.
So I'm going to start something called Weekend Academy.
Oh, nice.
Like next quarter. So
Perfect.
that would also be there on that course's website. So keep an eye out for it. It's going to be short courses, short like videos that will teach you one little small skill, but very specific that you can implement, learn over the weekend and implement on on Monday.
I love that idea. That's so good.
Thank you. That's why I love my clients. They are so good at it. Like, they think about all these things and say, why don't you do this for us? And I was like, perfect, woman. I would do this for you.
Yes. Oh, how
That's
exciting. Well, cool. Well, Manasi, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule and out of your day to share with us your journey and your pivotal moments and all of your aha moments and all these fabulous resources that you've given all of us. Thank you.
I'm so glad. This was so much fun, Flora, talking to you, also getting to know maybe what your audience might like. It's just fun. Aww. And I look forward to connecting with you, staying in touch with you, obviously, and then connecting with your audience if they choose to do that.
Oh, absolutely. And Planning Posse members, please click all the links below. Connect with her on Facebook, LinkedIn, and every other place that she is. Join her Facebook group. Go and check out all of these fabulous resources, because we all know the more resources that we have, that is more tools that we have to pull from each and every month, each and every week, so that we can find and craft our perfect planning style so that we will always be productive, so that we can meet those year-end goals. So yay! All right, everyone, thank you so much. And please be sure to tune back in here next month for next month's bonus interview. All right, we'll see you soon.